Hey there. Good Sunday evening. I am Sandy with Quilty Treasures and More, and I am just sitting here doing a little painting. As you can see, I have worked on the background of this one. It's a graduation cap, and it says "Hats off to the grad." So this is door hanger size. It can be done smaller if you'd like to put it on a plate stand, or if you would like to put it on an easel, it can also be done larger. And so it could be attached to a stake and put out maybe by the front door or the front steps in the flower bed. So this is what I've been working on for a little bit here this afternoon. I went ahead and did the background. I used a buttermilk color, and I also added some white polka dots. So I'm just going to be working on finishing um, out the hat and then the border. Now, on the hat, it's really crazy because there's so many different school colors and stuff out there, and everybody wants to do the school colors for the graduation cap and gown. But I'm going to stick to black on this one. And the reason why is you never know who may purchase this one. And so you don't know if it's going to one of the local high schools or if it'll go off to a totally different area. And so I'm going to try to keep this one rather neutral. And so I've got a neutral color for the background and white polka dots, and I'm going to do a black cap. And I'm not real sure about the border. I have gone back and forth on a couple of options for the border. If I pick a color, then of course, it's going to be associated with a school, and so I may do something neutral there as well. I'm still working on that thought process. Well, I hope you've had a great weekend. It was a very pretty day yesterday, and then of course we woke up to rain today, but it's okay. We needed the rain. All the grass needs needs to grow, I guess. It's crazy. We're just coming out of February, and I was thinking, it's probably about time that we start getting the lawnmower ready to go. I live in Mobile, Alabama, and so we have a very short winters, and so we will swim and cut grass until October, sometimes November, and then we sometimes start cutting grass as soon as the first week of March. And I have been known to be in the swimming pool shortly in the month of March. Uh, so it's crazy, but hey, you love where you live. All right, so this week, as far as what's been going on around the crafting table, we have worked on a few odds and ends, and then I actually did some purging and cleaning and some inventory this week of what paints I was running out of. I found several colors that I was almost out of. So I've been kind of doing the inventory thing, getting toward that move of spring cleaning a little bit there. But I don't know. I'm not the world's best at spring cleaning. I'll go ahead and admit to that now. I uh, I get those spurts, and then it doesn't quite get fully completed. So, you know, any helpful hints on keeping the motivation going are greatly appreciated. Also, if you're hanging out with me this evening, just send a quick hi in the comments and where you're watching from. If you're not in the Mobile area, I have a lot of friends and family in the Mobile area that hang out with me on Sunday nights and watch the replay. And so, if you're not in the Mobile area and you're hanging out with me or watching the replay, either way, um, just send me a quick hello and where you are watching or listening from. So as I said, I'm going to start this out with black, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it kind of neutral, and I'm going to work in sections. So you're not going to see me paint the entire thing right off the bat. And the reason being is because I'm going to do a little bit of kind kind of highlighting or varying the color a little bit, and so that way you can kind of tell the differences. It's not just one big black blob sitting here. So there'll be a look of like some light shining off of it, give it a little variation. So I am going to finish this top part, and then I'm going to show you what I mean by varying it up a little bit or giving it a little bit of highlight. All right, so I'm trying to keep this black here on the cap where it is not going to dry on me, because what I want to do is take some white, and I'm just going to add a little bit of white over here on the lid. And what I'm going to do, I'm not even going to rinse my brush. I'm just going to dip a little bit in the white, and you're going to see me add it. And I'm just going to kind of swirl it in. And so you're going to see it change just a little bit. Now I'm going to have to watch on the camera because the light is reflecting off of the shiny paint, and I cannot really tell what it looks like. So I'm just blending it in and just making a little circle, making a little circle motion here. And if you get too far out and you think, oh no, it's too light, too far, you can always come back and go over it again with black so that it lightens it or darkens it up again. Or you can keep blending. A lot of times I'll keep blending on the outer edge just so that it doesn't look like there's a ton of variation. And like I said, you can always tap in the black and just kind of come back around a little bit. And see, you can kind of darken it up a little. Hey there! My program is not showing me the name. Um, I'm using an outside program that actually works with Facebook, but unfortunately, due to, all the privacy stuff that we deal with in our day and age, this program will not show me the name of the Facebook user unless you click on the link in the description and tell StreamYard, which is the name of the program I use, that it's okay if I know who you are. They're protecting your privacy is what it amounts to. I know it's a pain to have to give them permission, but they're actually protecting your privacy as a Facebook user so that you don't feel like you have been I guess your information has not been shared if you did not want it shared. But it's okay. Hey, if you're watching and you don't want to go through all the hoops, it's quite all right. I'm glad you're here with me. I'm happy to have you here. All right, so I am now doing the bottom part of the cap black. And I'm going to add just a little bit of the white highlighting to it as well. But it's going to be just a little bit different. If you notice, I went around the button on this one. And I've got to go back and get the button because the button's going to be black as well. But I am going to wait until I finish with this last bit of shading. I'm kind of wondering if I should have gone with just a slightly smaller brush. because I feel like I may end up with a little bit too much white. I'm not going to go with a whole lot of white. Hi, Misty. All right, so I'm just putting a little shading around this part of the cap, just right under the brim, just a little bit. I might even add just a little bit right there. Oh, it didn't show up a whole lot. Let's see. See if I can get just a little bit right there and maybe right there. It's very faint. All right, so I'm going to go back and put the black on the button because the button is going to be dark. So it's going to stand out from the middle part. Okay. All right, so there's our hat. And of course I'll add some extra highlights and stuff to it, so um it'll have some more later on when I get to the finished part. Now for the tassel, I'm going to do that in a yellow and a gold color. So I'm going to kind of layer 2 or 3 things here. I'm going to go ahead and put the yellow over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the regular yellow, and I am definitely getting a smaller brush for this one. So I'm going to start with just my regular yellow. And I'll have to do 2 or 3 coats of the yellow. But I'm just going to put the yellow on the tassel, and then I'm going to come back with um, either a liner brush or my fan brush. I may just use my liner brush and add some white, so that way it gives it a little bit of variation, makes it look like, a tassel would look. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a gold metallic paint to it. Just go over it lightly and add a little bit of that metallic-y, shiny, sparkly look to it. And maybe I guess I'm not going small enough on my brushes tonight. Sometimes that happens. I'll have to do some cleanup, but sometimes that happens too. It's so funny. Last week I did the baby delivery truck, and I don't know what I don't know what happened. I don't know if me and the paint were not getting along as I was finishing that one up or not. But anyway, I had to do some pretty good touch ups. I had pink dots on the gray, and I had yellow dots on the blue, and I was thinking, what in the world happened? Sometimes things can just go crazy. Okay, so I've got the yellow in, and I am going to dry this just a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to, I'll put that back in the water. I'll switch over to a liner brush. Y'all, I bragged on my hubby about making if you see my little paints over here turning round and round. Okay, so he made me a little carousel thing to go underneath my paint tray over here. It's a tier tray, so I have 3 levels of paint. So he made me a little lazy Susan type thing to go underneath it. So I bragged on him. Well, now you can't see my brushes. They're up here in this corner, just past the reach of the camera. But I'm constantly twirling the container that has my brushes in it because it doesn't have a carousel on the bottom of it either. So anyway, he pipes up the other day, and I knew he was cutting some stuff out, but um, he brought me the two things I asked for, and then he disappeared again. And I said, "Well, are you getting ready to come in?" And he says, "No, I got something else I need to cut." And I'm thinking, I didn't give him anything else to cut. So I'm like, okay, well, undoubtedly he's got something he's working on. So next thing I know, he brings up a little bitty, it's about this big. It's just a little round, again, lazy Susan or carousel. And it goes underneath my brush, my brush container. So now I can twirl my brushes, I can twirl my paints, and I don't have to like drag the uh the container around to get to what I need. So I'm like, I'm in heaven. So it's funny how small things like that are just make one's day. But for me, it did because I would knock things off, especially where the brush container is, because like I said, it's right up there, and it's on the edge or the corner of my craft table here. And so I was forever knocking stuff off while I was getting brushes. Thus, one of the reasons why I was kind of doing some cleaning. So I'm like, ooh, I've got a what feels like a new brush container. So, hey, I did some cleaning on the brushes. I tried to revive some of my brushes. You can take old brushes, just a little side note, fun fact. You can take old paint brushes that, you know how after you use them over time, they look kind of like they're having a bad hair day, like the bristles are just all sort of spread out, look a lot like they've been stuck in a light socket. Um, or kind of like, curly haired people on a rainy day. Uh, the struggles of having naturally curly hair on a rainy day can be interesting at times. So you can take the brush, and I have an older pot that I don't brownie points. That's funny. So I have an older pot, and I got some water in the older pot, and yes, he did get some brownie points. And I got some boiling water in that little pot, and I took my brushes and I dipped them in one at a time just for a few seconds, and then pulled them out and reshaped them. And so I've kind of revived some of my older brushes that really were looking rather rough. And so that was one thing I did this week in doing some cleanup and trying to get some things a little better organized and tossed out and all that good stuff. I went through a small cart that I have kind of tucked underneath the table here. There's all kinds of stuff in there that needed to be reorganized. It was 3 drawers full of stuff. And after I got in and started working with it and tossing some stuff, it ended up there's only actually 2 drawers of stuff. And I have more space now. So I'm excited. That is really not the brush I want. I think this is the brush that I want. Maybe? No, maybe not. You know what? This is a crazy brush. It's very, very long bristles. Can you see how long those bristles are? I do not have any other brushes that have bristles that long. And so I'm just gonna play with this brush tonight. I may end up redoing my tassel, but we're just gonna play with this and see how this works. So I'm just gonna kind of roll the tip end in my paint. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start doing some streaks. Just down my tassel. And they don't all have to be the same, just lines. And what I mean by the same is they don't have to be the same length. I'm sorry. I kind of half started a quote or a sentence on that one, didn't I? You can actually get them to where they don't start right at the top. Some can start at the top and some can start in the middle, about halfway down. Some can start short. This is kind of one of the techniques that I use when I'm doing beards, like on the Santa Claus or the gnomes. There's actually two things that I do. One, and I think I did a Santa Claus on one of my lives around Christmas. Um, One, I use a fan brush, and this was a little too wide for the fan brush, so I didn't get it out. I decided just to use the the liner brush and just go with it. So you can also come back and use a little bit of a lighter touch and just kind of go in between and make just some light lines. Now, this is where I said I was going to get into the gold. So what I'm going to do, I have rinsed off this long liner brush and I have my gold metallic paint here. So what I'm going to do with this gold metallic paint, I'm going to add a little bit of it to the tassel as well. Just let it have a little bit of a, not a glittery sparkle, but a little bit of a metallic shine to it. Dry that just a little bit. Then I'm just going to come over where I just finished working on all of this other, and I'm just going to make some streaks. Some of them will cross the white, some of them will go over the top of the white. Some of them will be shorter, like I did the white. Some of them will be longer. And so I'm just kind of going over now the light. I don't know if you can tell or not. The light that I've got shining on it, of course it's a metallic-y shine. I'm not sure how well. I have the hardest time, if there's any photographers in the house, I would love some tips on getting good pictures of my uh, broken pieces collection and also my pieces that have the metallic on it, because it never seems to fail that when I try to get pictures of my broken pieces collection with the shattered glass and the resin, or my pieces that have the metallic paint on it, it does not show up very well. And it's always been frustrating to me because I want I want folks to be able to see, I want you to be able to see what I'm doing and what it really looks like, and it's just hard to recreate that. Okay, so I've got some metallic going on. There as well. Okay, so we're gonna put that to the side for a minute. Now, on the words, what I am going to do with the words, I have thought about doing um, navy blue, and I has also thought about doing um, using the gold. But I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to go around the edge with the metallic gold, and I think I am going to do the words in blue. A lot of times when you see cap and gown, especially if it's in a commercial, something generic, you're going to see a blue cap and a blue gown. And so I'm going to do the words in actually a navy blue. And then I'm going to do the edge in gold. Now, let's see if I can pull off getting this the brush I need picked correctly. So let's see here. I know nope, that's the green brush. That is not going to be the one I want. I want my little blue brush. My little blue brush always hides from me for some reason. There you are. I could probably go just a little bit bigger than that. It's really weird. I don't really have a brush that's like in between. Mm, I don't know, y'all. Part of me is like, yeah, let's use that one. And then part of me is like, I don't know, that may be too big. But it does have a nice, I don't know if you can see the nice tip that it has to it. And I'm like, that tip may be exactly what I am looking for. So let's see. We're gonna try with this one. If this one don't work, I'm gonna ditch it and go with my smaller one. Maybe so. But you know what I need to do? Time out and put my get my assistant. My assistant in the form of a second pair of eyeballs. So that way I will stay in the lines. So March is basically here, y'all. I cannot believe it. I am just like, oh my goodness. Um, I don't know. This I don't know. Maybe it's just me. The year just feels kind of, I don't know. There's times where I feel like, oh my goodness, are we still in January? And now that February is basically over with, I'm like, holy smokes, where'd the month go? Do you find yourself finding some months are just seem to drag out longer than others? I mean, is that just a am I just the weird one here? Or does everybody else feel like there are some months that just like you're going, okay, can we move on? And I think January for some folks was just like the never ending month because of cold weather. And people were just like, can we please get past the cold weather? And um, some folks are still dealing with cold weather. We actually we have had the air conditioner on for a good bit of last week. Oh, y'all, I remember why I don't like doing letters with this brush. Yes, it's a great size brush, but now I remember why. There's something about the bristles on this brush, and this is going to make me have to do a boo-boo fix. I can feel it coming on. Okay, maybe I salvaged it. Anyway, there's something about this brush, and I have tried clipping some of the little bristles, but I don't know. We fight and argue a lot, so all right, I'm bringing out blue. My blue brush, and we're just gonna go with old blue. I had this one brush that I loved, loved, loved to do shading with. Y'all, one day I was shading on something and broke the thing in half. I have never in my life seen anyone cry over a broken brush, but I came very, very close. I taped the brush together, okay? Yes, I did. I know you're thinking, "You what?" I taped the brush together, okay, just so I could keep using it. And one day I bought, it was just like an extra set of brushes that I was just like, "Okay, well, I'll get these and they'll be all right." In that set of brushes, I found a matching shade angled brush for shading that was the same size as the one I broke. That was one of those oh happy day kind of days because I was like, "Oh my goodness." So now I still have my tape together brush. Yes, I do. No, it did not get purged in the purging. I saved my tape together brush. And the reason why I saved it is because a lot of times when I'm doing glitter on the top of um, paint, I have started using that brush because I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all when you put some of the glitter paint on uh, words or maybe over certain details, the glitter does not want to let go of your brush. It holds it hostage. And so I uh, I had to designate a brush for glitter. And I have to watch because I have a very bad habit of tossing it in the water with the rest of my brushes. And then I will discover glitter showing up in paints while I'm painting. And it's because the glitter has left the glitter brush, gotten into the water, and therefore finds its way onto my other brushes that are in the water with the glitter brush. So, just a few helpful little tips from my school of hard knocks, learning things the hard way. I started to do the lettering before I started the live, and then I got sidetracked and I did not get the lettering done because the lettering to me seems to take just it's just one of those things that it's the last of the task, and it you want to hurry through it, but then again, if you do, then you're going to have to do a bunch of boo boo fixes. And so I have actually slowed down rather than speeding up on the lettering. I keep thinking, I'll get faster, and then I feel like, no, I'm not getting any faster. I'm getting slower. But it's because I got tired of having to fix boo boos, and so I have slowed down in order to not have to fix so many boo boos. Speaking of the month of March, before I forget to mention, coming up in the month of March, I am going to open the um, art club, the Kids Art Club, online art club for new members. So if you know a child, maybe it's your child, a niece, a nephew, a grandchild, maybe a neighbor, If you know a child that loves to draw and loves to paint, keep watching for a link that you can share with them to sign up and get on the list to receive more information about joining the QT Kids Art Club. Because the doors will be opening actually in a few weeks now that I think about it, because March is basically here. And so it's not going to be but just 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe just 2 weeks. Oh my goodness, I got to check my calendar. And then it will be time to welcome new members. And each month with the QT Kids Art Club, each month there are 4 video lessons, and they can be done anytime. It's not a set time. I pre-record the lessons. I upload them into a private Facebook group. You can access them anytime. So if you're looking for an after school activity, it can be done after school. Or if you homeschool and you would love to have some type of art in the homeschool, then it can be done, in the middle of the day or whenever you want to include art in your. I lost my lines, y'all. That's not good. Okay, so there's the A. There's the tail end of the R. All right, I see a little bit there. Oh man, the light is not helping. The light is actually hurting in this particular case. All right, well, I'm going to say that this is it. I may be fixing a boo-boo there. There should be another line here, and I can't see it. Sometimes these lights are too bright, and I mean, I have to have them in order to make the camera, make everything show up on camera the way it needs to. But sometimes it ends up messing me up with some of my lines. And also because I have the polka dot right there, the extra paint from the polka dot has kind of dulled my lines, so I'm having trouble finding it. But the light is not helping. It's just kind of washing out my lines there, but that's okay. We'll find it in a minute. I'll pull up the cut file of it and look and see what my line is supposed to look like, and then I will fix it from there. So I'm almost through with the bottom part of the wording here. The top part says hats off, and then the bottom part here says to the grad. So I've got, this is not the only graduation template that I have. I have 1 or 2 more. And then, of course, at graduation time, if you have been around Quilted Treasures and More for very long, you know that I also have keepsake ornaments that I do. And so I'll be getting pictures of that out. I know most graduations aren't until May, but I mean, if you think about it, Easter will be here. And I know Easter's late this year, but I mean, it'll be here before we know it. And then we're going to turn around and be right on top of Mother's Day and graduation and Memorial Day and the end of school. All right, so I turned the door hanger around. I know it's kind of funny to watch me do upside down, but I did not want to put my hand all up in my paint that I just put on the door hanger here. So I have flipped my door hanger around and working. Also, I'm working from what looks like the end of the word to the beginning of the word, because this way I'm not dragging my hand through the paint. I'm keeping my hand away from the paint. So finishing up the letters. And if you're watching this either live or on the replay and you would like more information about the QT Kids Art Club, you can just put more info and I will send you a private message with a link so you can check out more about the online art club. There's two options to it. You can do a video only, or you can do a monthly box. And what you get in the monthly box are either the canvases or the like brag book, whichever one we're using that month to do our artwork in, as well as either extra art supplies for those projects for that month, because there's four lessons each month, and that is a lesson each week. Sometimes you get art tools, and what I mean by art tools are things like the brushes or even our paints, because a lot of times the paints I get are not just for one month, they last for several months. All right, so this skinnier brush, of course, takes a little more time, but at least I know I will not be fixing a ton of boo-boos with my little brush here. So, like I said, I was trying to work on getting faster and faster, but with my lettering, but I discovered that I was also spending a lot of time trying to fix a lot of boo-boos and just stray lines. And so, sometimes you got to back up and punt. So I decided I would slow down and get it right the first time, save myself a ton of extra time. And it might take a little bit longer the first time, but like I said, I don't have the extra time in doing, I don't use the extra time in getting the little things fixed or touched up. Plus, I enjoy the whole process. I mean, some people are like, "Oh, I hate the lettering." And yes, it can be tedious at time depending upon the font, that is used. But sometimes it's just even though it might be tedious, it I find it kind of relaxing because it forces you to slow down. And I don't necessarily look at them as letters. That's one thing I've heard over and over again in some of the lettering classes. Don't think about them as handwriting, or you can't think of lettering as handwriting. When you're painting letters, you have to think of it more as paint strokes. And so that's what makes the difference in uh, doing, things about 17 times or doing them just a few times. All right, so We're getting close to the end here. I think I'm still going to do the gold on the edge, or at least I'm going to do a little corner and see what I think. And again, the reason why I'm not doing a school color is because, you know, you never know where this one will end up. It could be in Mobile County, in which case blues and reds would have been, the optimal choices because we have multiple schools and colleges that have red, and we have several that have blue. We have some that have kind of a burgundy or maroon color, crimson color, whichever one of those families you want to put that in. But by kind of going with a generic feel, um, or some neutral kind of colors, then it's not pinpointed to just one school, and it could actually be used, for be actually it could actually be used for different graduations, not just high school, but it could be in the generic colors. You could use it for high school and then for college as well, or you could use it for multiple kids. Maybe you've got one in high school this year and finishing up college next year. Well, you get to use it twice, back to back. And then when the youngest one gets out of college, use it again. So, that's the thing about doing the generic is that you're not pinpointing it to one specific time or one specific school. You can use it over and over again. Okay, let me turn it around so we can see what it looks like. So right now we're reading upside down. Oh, y'all, I put blue paint all over one of my containers over there. Oh well. Hey, it's a good thing paint washes off. All right, so hats off to the grad. Woohoo! All right, now on the edge, like I said, I am going to test a little bit of the gold and see what it looks like on the edge. I don't think I'll need my glasses for this one. I think I can see well enough to go with just my eyeballs here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go for this corner right here and see what the gold looks like. All right, well, I'm gonna go for the gold. I know that was funny, haha, seeing how we're in the year of the Olympics and all that good stuff. All right. Just gonna follow around the edge, put a layer of gold down, and then I'll probably have to do another layer once it dries good. But I'm gonna do the one for right now. So I'm just gonna turn it around so that way I can get to the edges a little better. Make sure I'm not off camera. So I've still got some highlights and things that I want to do, and all, but I'll get those done off camera, and I will post pictures this week of what it looks like after it's all finished with all the little extras. But I'm at least going to get the idea here so that way you can see what it's going to look like. And then of course the outlines and the highlights are just those last little touches that just kind of make it pop, make certain things stand out. And so that's not one of those things that really, it's the final product. It's not the necessity to give you the idea of what I'm striving for. So a lot of times I'll add those on after we get through with the live, just because I know you have things to do and to get ready for the new week, or for, I said that one time, my daughter corrected me. She said, "Today is the new week." I said, you're right. It's Sunday. So many times, especially working in, especially when you're working in the working world, then you get used to, oh, well, Monday is the first of the week. And, as my daughter corrected me on this, that's not true. Sunday is the first day of the week. So, so I have tried to get myself going, and as you get ready for the first day of work this week. My daughter's a mess, but she does keep me on track, and she makes me laugh. She had me laughing the other day. We were in the car and she was saying some stuff, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I'm like, "You guys stop. I can't wreck." Wouldn't you know it? It's kind of like the chip and dip dilemma. I got the one last little part of, and that's way too much paint. That's okay. I'll put a second coat here on it, and I'll put a second coat on it here in a few minutes, and it'll be all right. But all right, well, you get the general idea of what I'm going for here. Hats off to the grad. Woohoo! So, I can do these. Sorry, I've got long sleeves on tonight. I normally don't do long sleeves, but it was actually a little chilly here with the rain today. So I actually did put on some long sleeves this afternoon, and you know, long sleeves, comfy pants, staying warm and all that kind of good stuff. So, but here's our hats off to the grad. And we did, like I said, we went sort of generic. So I did a buttermilk background. I did a black cap. The letters are actually navy blue, and they will be a little bit darker because I'm going to go over them again. And then, of course, the tassel, I just did yellow, and I did add in some gold, metallic gold into this. So, and then I did the metallic gold around the edge just to give it a little bit of little shininess, little shimmer, a little, uh, a little pop there. And then I'll add some highlight marks. I'm going to give some definition here to the edges of the hat because we do have black on black. And we did give it a little bit with our white, mixing in our white and giving it just a little bit of a shadow and shade mixture there. And then, of course, with the center as well. But I'm going to add just a little bit more with a little white outline, and just make it well defined. So that's a couple of the extras that I'll be doing, as well as adding a little bit of a black border along with the gold. So that'll actually define the borders with the background. So that'll pop a little bit as well. But I'm going to wait and put a second coat of gold on the outer rim, and then I'll add in my border and all that good stuff. I hope y'all have a great week. Here, let me pull this back up where, hey, we can actually see each other a little better here. Um, I hope y'all have a great week. I am going to be working on a variety of things this week. I have some flowers that I'll be doing and painting, not actual flowers. Uh, but I'll be doing a door hanger that has some flowers involved, as well as hopefully getting into some Easter stuff as well. So fingers crossed on that one. We have run into a slight delay on some wood. So, it's just kind of one of those things. I saw on Facebook a while ago, somebody was asking, what has happened to all the Rice Krispies? And so I don't know. It's one of those things. It's so weird how stuff just randomly is not available. And so, I don't know. But anyway, y'all have a great week. Have a great rest of your evening. And like I said, hey, if you're watching this on the replay, drop me a hi. And if you'd like more information about the QT Kids Online Art Club, again, just put more info in the comments. I will be more than happy to send you a message with a link that will tell you all about it. There are two options for that art club. And one is just a video only. That's where you buy all the supplies. I'll send you a list of what you need, and you can gather those. Or if you want a box that has supplies in it and some cool little things, little extras here and there along the way, then that's the second option, is the box option. So have a great week, have a great evening, and I will see you on Facebook throughout the week.